Hey ho mates. Two more stories here from relationship advice. One is about a man who unknowingly slept with his brother's wife. The other is how not to treat a woman who's going downtown on you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it. This story is titled, Brother's Wife Had an Affair with Me But He Won't Believe That I Didn't Know. Everything feels like it's falling apart and I don't want it to end this way. My older brother and I used to be close as kids but we had different lives. Both had the same dad but different mums. My mom was a junkie so his mum used to let me stay with them often. Around my senior year of high school I started falling into the same thing as my mum and that fricked up my relationship with him. I was an asshole back then and basically took advantage of his and his mum's help. Stole money from them for drugs, made them think I was getting help and needed money for rent. Not proud of what I did and I absolutely deserved it when they both cut me out of their lives. Was only 21 at the time and for 3 years I was out of control with my drinking and getting high all the time. It was a really bad period in my life. Second time I overdosed I started going to rehab. I'm 29, sober for 5 years, got my GED, and working full-time at a recycling plant. Over a year ago I decided to reach out to my brother. Wanted to show him that I changed my life around and want to reconnect with him because I know I fricked up in the past. My brother was willing to talk and slowly have been keeping touch through Zoom, phone calls, and texts. It's been so great having my brother back in my life. I know he still doesn't fully trust me and I don't blame him. He's gotten married and has 2 kids. A girl and a boy ages 4 and 2. Still haven't met them because like I said, I'm working on earning that trust and he doesn't want them to know who I am just yet. Was never even shown a picture of them. That includes his wife or soon-to-be ex-wife. But turns out she's the fricking lying piece of shite I'd hooked up with from time to time over the years. Met her years ago when I think I was approximately 23 or 24. We took ecstasy together and hooked up at my buddy's house. We met again at another party 8 months later. From there we'd hook up every once in a while. But I never had a clue she was married. We went long periods without seeing each other but I was busy with my job and working my program so never thought anything of it. We were never anything serious. It was always about having sex and not seeing each other for months. Last time I saw her was close to 7 months ago. He found out last week. When he called me I had no idea why he was so pissed and he told me everything. About how he found she had another phone hidden in the house and he found the texts she sent me. Then he confronted her wanting to know who the guy was and she admitted it was me. I don't know how much she told him or if she's trying to throw me under the bus too. She knew all this time since me and him started talking again that I was his brother and never said anything until she was caught. He was half yelling at me half crying that he couldn't believe I do this to him after all the shite he's done for me and that I'm dead to him. No matter how many times I told him I didn't know it was her he still didn't believe me. Eventually he hung up on me and all my calls are going to voicemail now. I've texted him a million times explaining everything and telling him I'm sorry but now I'm not getting anything. I can't imagine how much he's hurting right now. I hate that I'm the one who caused this. Now it's like I keep going back and thinking about why it never occurred to me that she probably was married with kids. Is it that I just didn't care to think about it? Would have never slept with a married woman and now it looks like I've fricked up my relationship with him for life. It just hurts to think about it. We were doing so well building things back up and going back to how we used to be. Now I've hurt him again and I'm scared I'll never be able to see him or my niece and nephew ever. Comment 1. I'm sure this isn't the response you want, but you're right that this might irrevocably change your relationship with your brother. And honestly, even if it's not your fault and you didn't know I think you're just going to have to accept that. I think you should give him some time, at least a couple of weeks, to get over the initial shock of finding out his wife cheated on him. Then reach out to him again and apologize and say you'd like to explain if he'd be open to talking to you. You don't know what his wife has said, maybe she didn't throw you under the bus and was completely honest about keeping that info from you. Either way, you still fricked his wife and he might never get over that. Comment 2. You've been hooking up with this lady for years. He has 2 kids that are 4 and 2. You could be the father of those kids and not him. You need to take a huge step back from this for a second and actually think about this situation because it could be 10 times more fricked than you think right now and you might have 2 children that you never heard of being raised by your half-brother. Comment 3. Would your buddy, whose house you first hooked up with her at, know whether or not you knew who she was? If so, maybe have him write an email to your brother on your behalf. Otherwise, give him some time and distance to process. For now, get into counseling to discuss this and everything else in your life. After you've worked through some of it, and after he's had time to process, ask your counselor to help you word a letter, email to send to him that apologizes, explains, and then leaves the ball in his court whether to ever respond. Comment 4. You're 29, sober for 5 years, took drugs with her about 23 or 24, then met 8 months later. After that he married her and had 2 children with her, never mentioning you at all, even though she would have been in the same circles as you? How on earth did this all happen in 5 years without something being mentioned? Comment 5. Time is what he needs. There is no other way now. It's not your fault, but you should be prepared to never speak to your brother again. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Whether you knew or not is irrelevant to him, as you still did it. Unknowingly breaking the law is still breaking the law. Crappy situation, but keep your life together in the meantime and hope to be able to reconnect with your brother in the future. Don't go back into drugs, as then you will never see him again. This story is titled, Please Help, I Caught My 25 Female Boyfriend, 23 Male, recording me while I was sucking his D. Note, I fell asleep typing this last night and just woke up to finish posting it. First of all, sorry for my weird English. I'm typing this from my phone and feeling very overwhelmed right now. My boyfriend of 6 years picked me up tonight at my house because we were planning to go to a motel to have some fun. This is not the first time we do this, however, we've never had sex because I want to wait until marriage. Please don't judge, but we do have oral sex and pretty much do anything except penetration. He has told me on many occasions in the past that he would love to put a sleep mask on me before going down on me. It was like his fantasy. Today while getting ready I remembered that I had one face mask that belongs to my mom but never wore it, so I took it with me. Fast forward when we arrived at the motel, we were feeling very in the mood and we started doing our stuff. I told him I brought the face mask and he was super excited to put it on me. He did it and then he started going down on me and stuff, but then he wanted me to suck his wanker while still wearing it. I feel in some moments he is also covering my eyes with his hand as well. He is basically sitting on top of me while I suck him off while wearing the face mask. Suddenly, I tried to reach out to touch his chest and my hand bumps against something that felt like hardened plastic. I asked him if he has something in his hand, to which he answers no. However, I was pretty sure something was going on, so I asked him if he was recording me. He says no again. However, I keep insisting until he finally said yes, and pulls out his phone from underneath a pillow. I immediately started freaking out and asked him why was he recording me, to which he answered he just wanted to have that video so he could jerk off to it. I told him it was completely wrong because he was recording me without my consent and that I felt very disrespected. And that he knew what we was doing was wrong because he was hiding it from me. I was so pissed I even slapped him once, and I immediately asked him to take me home, so he did. We didn't speak the whole ride and I just got off and left. Can someone please advise what should I do? Does this happen to couples all the time? Did I overreact? Please help. I have no friends to talk about this and I will never tell my parents either. Comment 1. It's illegal in many places, a violation of your trust and something you don't want floating around out there. I would not be happy. I would demand he show you his videos on his phone and watch him delete it. If he doesn't want to show you, I would seriously consider calling the cops. I would also be done with this guy. You don't do that to someone you care about. Comment 2. No, this doesn't happen. You didn't overreact. Your boyfriend is a disgusting liar and you shouldn't forgive this. Don't let him gaslight you. There's no excuse. What he did is also illegal. Comment 3. Did he delete the footage in the end? If not, make sure that he does. I don't think slapping him in the face was the best thing to do, but absolutely understandable given the situation. This is a breach of boundaries. He should have asked you. He filmed you without consent. I don't know about the legality of the situation where you are, but you might want to look into this. Was he apologetic or remorseful at all? Comment 4. This is a disgusting thing to do and makes it even worse that he denied it the first few times you asked if he was recording you. Yes, this happens to couples all the time, but that does not make it okay. I think you have your answer. Your boyfriend is a scumbag. Comment 5. When it comes to sexual acts, I don't think the single person consent applies. I would go see him and make sure it's been deleted. You also need to check his computer, his thumb drive and all online backups and data storage places. These are really easy to hide. Trust me, this is part of my job at work to pull this type of info. If at any point this gets out, file a complaint to the police department for a cease and desist order. This will force him to pull it down and remove all copies or face jail time. Why would he not just ask for permission? He's your boyfriend, for God's sake. When my wife and I were in a long-distance relationship, I got permission to record our interactions and she even helped me set it up. Comment 6. Dumb. No, that's very not cool. You need to set his ass straight. He can't record you without your knowledge. That's fricked up. I wouldn't say it's the end of the world, more just that he's a total fricking idiot. Make him feel that way and understand why that's so far from okay. Obviously, if he ever did it again or if you found out it was something he has done before, then I would dump him. Also make sure he knows that's 100% illegal. If he had done it before, I would threaten the police and make sure you see him delete everything. Comment 7. First of all, if you can get a woman to do that, why would you do anything to make her not want to do it again? If you only think of yourself and your creepy needs in these situations, you're soon going to find yourself by yourself. You've got to make sure the woman feels safe and comfortable when she's in a vulnerable position. You shouldn't even have your phone near you while being intimate. Dump the bozo and find a real man, like me.
Thank you so very much for listening. Please check out my other videos and like and subscribe.